came out that Elon Musk is leaving. Now, of course, the president had already said he was only going to be here for a temporary basis.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Doge will continue after Elon Musk. Will he still be an advisor to you and the president? I know y'all have a great relationship. Tell us.
Most transparent organization in government ever. Every single Doge action is listed on the Doge.gov website. It's also listed on the X handle. So if anyone has a concern about any one of those actions, they can bring that up, they can raise that. And I do want to say, like, sometimes we make a mistake. Nobody bats 1,000. We will at times make a mistake, and when we make a mistake, we'll act very quickly to correct it.
All eyes were glued to the screen as Elon Musk dropped one truth bomb after another in his explosive interview. He tore through the woke narrative like a freight train, leaving Jessica Tarlov visibly unraveling in real time. The moment hard facts hit the table, her composure cracked. But Ailing wasn't done yet. He made it clear that more revelations, more receipts, and maybe even more arrests were still to come. Like it or not, the so-called awakened agenda is being dragged.
I'm not going to beg for you to come on my show. I know it'll happen eventually. You said the other day you uncovered some evidence that there was massive Social Security fraud and that arrests were imminent.
Yes.
What can you tell us about that? And what can you tell us about what you've seen politicians do to make massive amounts of money off of the federal government, like Nancy Pelosi? Please.
Yes. So we've encountered, there's really so much for it. It's deciding what should be prosecuted first, because it's such a long list. You have to actually prioritize the list. We convey the list to the Department of Justice. The DOJ has a process that they go through to review and think about it. The wheels of justice turn slowly. In fact, obviously, I have a maniacal sense of urgency. So to me, when I see that terrible fraud has happened, I'm like, why haven't we arrested someone already? But as the saying goes, the wheels of justice turn slowly but surely. And I think probably the person that stole 400,000 Social Security numbers, at least, maybe more, will be arrested hopefully this week. With respect to the non-governmental organizations, these sort of fake NGOs, I think there needs to be a number of arrests in that regard as well, because these are fake charities where mostly Democrats, I don't want to be clear, there's sometimes a little bit of Republican in there, because they sometimes throw the Republicans a bone to say, hey, be quiet about this. So that's where you start getting the uniparty thing going on. But it is overwhelmingly to Democrats, and they give these give billions of dollars to NGOs run by Democrats that then go through a whole network of additional NGOs. It's a giant money laundering scheme. Really, at this point, I think the word NGO and money laundering are
completely lost it, furious, scrambling, and desperate to spin the story. But the truth is, that wasn't even the main event. Ailing went full throttle on air, dismantling woke talking points one by one. He tore apart every flimsy claim and bad faith argument with precision, and perhaps most telling of all, Jessica Tarlov hasn't dared to return to the studio since
and her family, so have not thrown any Molotov cocktails recently, but I wanted to talk to you about what Doge has been doing. So you've been making cuts to a lot of the agencies that have open investigations and regulatory battles with your companies. At the same time, you continue to get billions in government contracts. Tesla gets billions in subsidies. How do you explain that to the American people?
Well, everything that Doge does is an open book. So I think the most transparent the most transparent organization in government ever. Every single Doge action is listed on the Doge.gov website. It's also listed on the X handle. So if anyone has a concern about any one of those actions, they can bring that up, they can raise that. And I do want to say, like, sometimes we make a mistake. Nobody bats 1,000. We will at times make a mistake, and when we make a mistake, we'll act very quickly to correct it. I am under such an extreme spotlight, so much scrutiny, that it's literally impossible for me to get away with anything nefarious, and obviously nor do I wish to. So this is a case where we have radical transparency. We're actually willing to admit that we do make mistakes. Often people are not willing to admit they make mistakes, but we are. But we want to emphasize we fix them quickly, and we're trying to do the right thing for the American taxpayer, for the American people. And I think history will be the judge that what we've done here and what we're doing is a very good thing for the strength and future of America.
This is exactly what happens. By the time the hosts of The View tried to spin it as a win, it was already too late. Alling didn't just dismantle their narrative, he exposed the machinery driving it. He showed plainly that their attacks weren't about him being wrong. They were about him cutting off a years-long pipeline of fraud, waste, and taxpayer-funded perks. That's the real reason they're after.
You just pointed that out a moment ago.
Right.
Do you think it helps sales if dealerships are being firebombed? Of course not. And Tesla customers are being intimidated all over the country and all over Europe. Mm-hmm. Does that help Tesla? I mean, you had Tim Waltz, who's a huge jerk, running around on stage with the Tesla stock price where the stock price had gone in half, and he was overjoyed. But what an evil thing to do! What a creep! What a jerk! Like who derives joy from that? And it was pointed out to him that actually, Minnesota State Pension Fund is a major investor in Tesla. But he didn't care. He was so overjoyed by Tesla stock going half. Does that sound like a good person to you?
Don't think the left's only moves now are protesters vandalizing Teslas and Joy Behar tossing out weak punchlines. The truth is, they're losing ground, especially with Gen Z. The very generation they thought was safely in their pocket is waking up. Gen Z is cutting through the noise, choosing logic and facts over slogans. Meanwhile, Jessica remains trapped so deep inside the echo chamber that she doesn't even notice the shift happening all around her.
Weird exception.
No,
the fact is the
it's
system
not
is
weird.
being gamed. Weird.
Did-
Americans voted for Donald Trump because they saw these systems, these institutions being gamed. The asylum issue, the birthright citizen
That's what I'm
issue,
saying, though.
Title IX issues. Every single part of society was being gamed by the left, and finally, Americans got pushed too far. Point is, you don't have to like everything in the restaurant to like the restaurant. There are things, I go to a restaurant, I don't eat any seafood, but I like that restaurant because it's got steak. There are things that Trump will do that I will disagree with, but the entire package is as close as you're going to get to what Americans want. Trump is redefining basically what a human being can do in 24 hours. It's incredible. He did more in a day than Biden did in his damn career, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting. He had 3 balls last night. That's 3 more than Adam Kinzinger. The guy hasn't slept in 2 days. I mean, the thing is, it's amazing. It's possible. It is possible. Donald Trump could complete his presidency in 3 months. Right. And then he could just say, you know what? He goes, you know what, JD, you take it from here. I think I did everything I could do. It's incredible. And by the way, you brought up, and you said it was a good thing, the fact that like these people have to go back to work, but then you mentioned all these challenges they have. Well, welcome to America. Every single one of us has a challenge, but yet we come to work. I'm not going to pay for their porn addiction. If they want to sit home in front of Pornhub and go, I have chronic fatigue syndrome, you know what? Everybody in America could stay home because they have a sick loved one or a baby, but they aren't. They're coming to work. They should go. I'm glad that he got rid of the appointees. I need work around the house. I pay well.
These are the same people screaming at Elon Musk for daring to expose government, waste loud, ignorant, and hooked on lies. On top of that, Jessica Shea is busy peddling misinformation to stir up hatred toward both Elon and Trump. The left-leaning media is already in full panic mode, insisting Elon's days as a government insider are over, but J.D. Vance isn't buying it. His response, a perfectly stacked dose of their own hypocrisy, handed right back to them.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Doge will continue after Elon Musk. Will he still be an advisor to you and the president? I know y'all have a great relationship. Tell us about it.
Well, first of all, that report I saw was total fake news. Elon came in and we said, we need you to make government more efficient. We need you to shrink the incredible, vast bureaucracy that thwarts the will of the American people, but also costs way too much money. And we said that's going to take about 6 months. And that's what Elon signed up for. But of course, he's going to continue to be an advisor. And by the way, the work of Doge is not even close to done. The work of Elon is not even close to done. You look at all of the fraudulent grants that they found. You look at people who are 150 years old, who are fraudulently collecting Social Security payments. You see our Social Security system. 40% of the people who are calling in are actually committing fraud. That means the 60% who need their Social Security checks are waiting in line. Doge has got a lot of work to do. And yeah, that work's going to continue after Elon leaves, but fundamentally, Elon is going to remain a friend and an advisor of both me and the president, and he's done a lot of good things. People don't realize how vast and uncontrolled the bureaucracy was. We've started to chip away at it, but there's a lot of work to do. It's not going to happen all in 6 months.
Line that probably ruined. Their entire week panic is clearly setting in, but it gets even better. Stick around to see how CNN manages to expose itself by blaming Milan for everything, all while conveniently ignoring the millions George Soros pours into political influence. The double standard couldn't be more obvious. For more of the facts they'd rather you never hear, drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Well, what's interesting about it is you heard anytime anybody brings this up, a Republican will say, well, what about J.B. Pritzker, and what about George Soros, and what about this, what about that? And I guess the answer is, you don't see George, first of all,
George Soros.
you don't see them out there talking,
No.
right? I mean, they might be giving money to organizations, this and that, and people can criticize that
They
if
all
they want.
do. They all
But the idea that, like, oh no, I am going to tell these voters, forget, like, hiring Scott Walker to do it, or somebody on the Milwaukee Bucks, I'm going to tell them.
Right. No, he has to suck up all the oxygen. There's only one other person that needs more attention. Is